I need this in my life. And I came in between a stressful time, in between tour season. That's when I had just begun my 4-hour sets. This is 2018, 2019, and just coming here, I'd been hearing about it for some time. And when I came here, I just immediately knew. I was just like gravitated. I didn't know how to explain it, but I was just gravitated towards the energy here in the high desert, I was staying in Yucca Valley, and I stood here, and I came back probably like a month later, and I just never looked back. But just like the design approach to what that home, was, I just, the details, the way the property, where it's located in between the boulders, just everything. So, fast forward through time, I just kept coming here in between shows and stressful moments. I would come here for a couple of days at a time, and I would feel rejuvenated, even for 2 days. Even one day, there was a couple of times we came up here to hike, or just as a day trip, come here morning, early afternoon, go home early evening, and I would always just feel recentered, you know what I mean? And I always recommend that to people, like, come out here and, just reset. You don't got to spend days and days, but that's really where it stemmed from. And it became a thought in my mind. It became this vision. And around 2020, when we were all in quarantine and interest rates were low, I started, trying to, I was really trying to buy a home. And at that time, since we were all, locked up, I was like, well, I'm willing to live out here for a year or two. I tried to buy, and I just got outbidded every time. It was very frustrating, And so fast forward, there's so much more that goes behind it. But, fast forward to now, everything has its timing and alignment. And here we are now. And I think the timing is better than ever. You know what I mean? The timing is all the work that I put in, and the branding and the shows I've done out here in the high desert. The merch through Timeless Classics, everything that I've done, the radio shows, everything has fed back into this very moment,
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. That's a really great extension of the Selection brand and the umbrella. You're expanding it from music to merch to NFTs to now physical experiences. What do you hope that people will experience when they step into this space?
I want them to get the feeling, one, that I felt when I came out here for my first time, for so many reasons. The energy, we're in a vortex out here, number one, right? So you just feel that desert energy. But two, I just want this to feel like, man, this place is so inspiring. We don't even have TVs here, you know what I mean? Intentionally. We don't want to put TVs here. We want people to really be present. And it's about being intentional here. And so I just want people to feel like this is really a home that I would live here.
Yeah.
If I could, I would live here easily. But I live back home in LA, and that's where home is. And this is my home. So I'm treating it as such, and I want people to respect it and appreciate it as so. So I just want people to have that feeling like I'm here with them, you know what I mean? And I think that's really the purpose of creating this ambiance and this setting.
Yeah, I love that, man. I think the way that, from what we just talked about, even off camera, but the way that you're planning to curate this experience, the space, the energy in here, it's going to be a really special experience for everybody who steps foot. So congratulations on this new venture. Wishing you endless success.
Thank you, brother.
And yeah, man, let's, is there anything else you want to add about timeless living right now? I'm sure it'll come up, but
yeah, we'll keep talking, naturally about it. But I mean, in terms of right now, I mean, this is just a very special moment for me, man. I just want people to come here. If you've never been to the Joshua Tree region, or you've never been to, so this home is in Yucca Valley. You know what I mean? It's a town, town village. It's a region within about 10 plus minutes, 15 minutes from the Joshua Tree region and the national park. But this is all, to me, it's all a central place, and this place will be available. And I just really want people that have never been here to just really come out here. And if this is a reason that gets you out here, I'm all for it, you know what I mean? But this is just it's crazy because we're barely getting ready to launch, and I'm already thinking about Project 2 and Project 3. Like, this is a new venture into real estate. This is like Joe K 12.0, you know what I mean? This is like me really showing people, me and Zabel, like, this is us and really just showing people that beyond music and beyond what people know me for, that I can do many other things. And it's really about diversifying, you know, like you don't have to just stay in music. You don't have to just DJ. You don't have to just produce. You don't have to just write music, or you don't have to just be whatever it is your profession is. You can be someone of many trades, and not just doing it transactionally, but doing it tastefully and doing it in a way where, like, I'm passionate about it. Like, I can look at mood boards all day. I can go on Facebook Marketplace. I can do all these things all day and just buy things and be inspired. And like, I'm super passionate about it. It goes hand in hand with the music, with the energy, with the vision. And so this is what's inspiring me at the moment and what inspires everything else. So, you know, when I find these pockets of inspiration, I tend to like lean into them, and it gives me so many more ideas. But lastly, the diversification of my portfolio is so important because, you know, I think we all learned during COVID, you know, that, you know, especially with shows and merchandise being a big component into developing revenue stream for us artists, for us DJs, when that stuff is out the window, or if your moment is over, like if you're not having a hot streak anymore, you know, what do you have as well that's creating passive income, and also that's like creating a new empire for you? So this is something that I love, and I'm like, why not doing it tastefully, right? So it's really just adding to that, so I can afford to say no to a lot more things and do things that serve me, and not feel like I need to be pressured to always be on the road. I don't want to be DJing on the road full time, you know, my whole life. Like it's exhausting, man. Yeah. So this is just another way of expanding that horizon, you know?
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm curious about, this is obviously a new venture for you, and I'm curious about how you start exploring a new venture. Like there was something that was, for you, it just sparked your interest. It's something it's exhausted. I spent 24 hours here and I'm exhausted just watching.
Like, I'm definitely starting to get these bags, you know, like the gray hairs, man. It's a real thing, but I mean, it's just having an amazing team. I have a small team, but a potent team, you know, from Zabel, who's helped me spearhead this whole thing. You know, her and I have known each other for 5 years. She's my business partner, and she's the heart to this, you know, like the creative vision, the organizer, the coordinator, and us together, we're just crazy beast, you know, like it's unfair, like her and I together on what we can accomplish. And I can imagine once we expand the team, but also, you know, me having my team, you know, Olea, Dom on the selection side, and they're my personal management, Andres, you know what I mean? Having Sahar, Mark, everybody, like my whole team, you know, the Love Approved boys, like having everybody in their role, you know, Marielle, like every single person is so important to allow me to drift off and tap in. The thing is, when I eat, everybody eats. So when I have dinner, we all eat. So when things are still moving through selection and I have other things going on and I'm able to tap in here, I entrust in them. I powered them. I've given them the keys for years now to, you know, we've all learned through mistakes, but now we're at a point where it's like, it's game time. So if I step away, yeah, my input is super essential a lot. My presence is super essential, but if I can't be there, I can trust that the job is still getting done. Same thing, if I'm on the road, if I'm on a plane for 16 hours going to Australia, and there's an important decision that needs to get made and created on behalf of me while on the plane or on the road or in the middle of a 4-hour set, I trust that Zabal or any of my people can make a decision on behalf of me. And that is almost clear. It's almost identical to a decision that I would make or in the best of interest of the company. So because of that, that's why things are able to move. Because if it just always required me, certain things do require my final output and my final decision, and they always do better when I'm involved. But if not, at least the ball keeps moving. So it's having a team. I could not do this without a team. There's no way. Yeah. I'm just one person, and I would lose my mind if I had to just do it by myself. So I am the face. I am the vision. I am a creative too, but like I couldn't do this without the people, without my crew, you know what I mean? So that's really how I'm able to do it. It's taking years of relationships, years of of ups and downs, being honest and transparent with my people. We have disagreements, we clash, we go through everything just like any other brotherhood or sisterhood or any company does, right? Growing pains, but we always find a way to like come meet in the middle and very honest with each other. And you have to have that in order to grow, you know what I mean? So it's taking years for me to find my tribe, you know what I mean? I've attracted my tribe. I've haven't aligned with everybody, and those people are no longer around, and vice versa. But the people that are here right now, like, truly want to be here, and I couldn't ask for a better team.
That's so valuable. It's so important. I think when you think about not only your work, but just creative entrepreneurs, a big part of scaling is being able to find the right people, building the right team. What do you look for in a team member of the Selection family, of Timeless Living, of every project you have? Like, what are some of the qualities you look for in a...
Well, just like anything, it's what's their skill set? What are they bringing to the table, right? I mean, that's first things first. It's like, what are you bringing to the table that I don't already have, that we don't already have? And beyond that, once your skill set is what got you here, okay, cool. You could be the most gifted person in the room, but if your attitude ain't there, if your work ethic ain't great, and you're not willing to be coached, or you're not willing to take constructive criticism, it ain't gonna work. This ain't the place. Because I'm a hard ass. I know I am. Like, everybody knows that. I'm a perfectionist. I'm not perfect myself. You know what I mean? I'm the first one. Run it up. Tell me what I need to work. I can sit there and get clapped. You know what I mean? Get ate up in terms of like, you need to do this better, Joe. Or like, the way you came off here, Joe, is too strong. You made me feel this type of way. Okay, cool. Let me make adjustments, because not everybody has the same communication skills. Not everybody has the same, way of just connecting. So I've had to learn that along the way. But on my side, I do expect a lot, you know what I mean? Especially if you give me a word, or you say you can do something, or you're not communicating, I expect a lot. So what I look for is good communication, willing to learn, willing to be coached, and I don't want to say potential, because like, as I said before, like, if you fall in love with someone's potential, right, it can be an issue in the long run, because those potentials are there, but they may never be reached. And when someone's just living in a world of potential, then you're in a situation where they never get there because they're lacking the work ethic. And then sometimes it's not up to you or I to change that person. The person within has to change that. So you don't want to be, glued to that. So you want to be affiliated with people who are take accountability, and people who are full of action. And that's why even with this, it's been very challenging for me doing this, because I'm so impulsive at times, and I have been. And I would say, now at the age of 33, about to be 34, with the maturity and growth mentally and spiritually, it's hard. I mean, we launched this in the top of 2023, like end of January, top of February. I already formed the company, turned this into an LLC, and you know how hard it was for me to be like timeless living and really like, repping it on my chest, like, like telling people to be ready and to keep this under the wraps. I mean, I even kept this under wraps for my friends for months, and the only people who have known about this are my friends and family. And it took me at least 3-4 months to like spread the word to them, and some of it got out to them. I told one person, and it spread to a couple of my people, but I was really low key, and that's been a blessing for me to like work in silence. And I know that's cliche, but to actually live it, you know what I mean? And work, keep our head down, not say a word, because I'm really like a man of like, now at this point, let's just show people.
I love
you know
that.
what I mean? So now it's been great to like rolling this out. People are like, wait, what? Yeah, I have been teasing some things as of recent, very minimally, but people don't even really understand what it like. What, like, okay, he's just in Joshua Tree again. Why has he been in Joshua Tree so much? Something's up, but no one really knows. You know what I mean? And that's the best part about it, is that people have no clue.
Yeah.
And I love that. Just showing the final result.
First of all, you were dropping some gems already that I feel like also doubles as relationship advice about potential. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. So thank you for that, for this session. Yeah, man, I think you said it, like, working in silence it hits different. One, when you're launching, when you actually roll it out, And two, just like keeping the good energy internally as you're working, like as the process is coming along. It doesn't need to be seen by the world yet. You know, when it's ready, it's ready. You don't want any bad energy coming your way while you're building something. So I think there's something to say about that.
That's so true, man. I'm glad you touched up on that. And also, if it doesn't pan out, I've been in that situation so much where I tease things that aren't really concrete yet, and then it doesn't happen. Then you're just kind of left with a blank idea, or you kind of, people might look at you a certain way, sideways, like, you know what I mean? But it was just important to ourselves to just show, like, look, like, let's just wait till we, like, get a little bit closer to this being completed, and let's furnish the place. Let's get it listed. Let's come up with the true identity of it. There's no rush. Ain't no one sitting there. No one's, in pain waiting for this. Like, no one's losing any sleep over this. You know what I mean? So it's all in the mind. You know what I mean? We create these illusions and project like, I need to let people know. And I think it depends. If you're looking for a contractor, you're looking for something like, hey, I need something because I need this built or whatever, then I understand sometimes you got to seek by announcing certain things. But luckily we're able to like find all those resources and tools and people without having to like ask publicly or ask internally. And so that helped a lot too. You know what I mean? So
yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit about selection. You've passed 600 shows. Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
One show every week for the past 12 years.
It's crazy.
Consistency is amazing. Couple questions. One is, I feel like this is a fun one, but what are some of the most memorable shows? Like, what are some of the most meaningful shows that come to mind to you?
There's been a couple. I mean, there's been a couple takeovers. The takeovers have been the ones that have stood out to me, you know what I mean, as of recent especially. The shows, like I said, in different places, especially in Joshua Tree, those ones have always been the standouts because it just brings out a certain energy. But yeah, just like the visual ones in terms of like the special guests, Jael, recently we had Hagen, seeing those visual components when Andres recorded out in Azusa Canyons, wherever he was, it was, or Glendora, I don't remember where it was, but it was literally out in nature.
Yeah.
The Sonder episode, insane, like hearing Brent Fayaz, that early in 2017, 2018, and they did a full takeover playing all unreleased. You know what I mean? All the special guests that we've had, the interviews. I don't really do interviews that much anymore. I'm super picky and just really selective now of who we interview. Just for many reasons, but just making sure the timing aligns. But there's been a lot, but it's really been like the takeovers, and some shows flow better than others. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes the music that I'm receiving in the mental space that I'm in are just, you have good days, you have bad days, and certain days I'm just hitting everything. You know what I mean? Like every track, every transition, every blend is just on point. I don't really have an answer for that other than, so you have those days where you're just in cadence, you're just in rhythm. So those episodes are good, but honestly, I move on so quick. You know what I mean? Sometimes I even struggle remembering what I played a month ago. I have to look at the radio show cover and sometimes listen to the first song or skim through or look at the track list and be like, oh, okay, I remember this show. But I play so much music and I find so much music week to week that it's really difficult to remember even the last 10 shows. You know what I mean? I'm constantly on to the next. So it's a blessing, though. I'll say that.
Yeah. When you look back, just up until this moment, just looking at your journey, I'm curious about what you think your secret sauce is that has kind of just allowed you to actualize this vision up to this point. Like, what is that secret sauce that's empowering Joe-K, driving all your work?
It's a great question. Well, one, I just think I was blessed. Like, you either have it or you don't. You know what I mean? And we all have, we're all blessed and God sent, right? Everybody has a trait. There's things that you can do that I can't. She can do that I can't. The viewer can do that I can't. We all have certain things, but some people would just excel in certain areas beyond anyone in those regions, you know. And there's obviously more talented people than me in music, and I don't write music, I don't produce. I'm not the best DJ. I don't scratch. I'm not the best. I don't know. I don't think I'm the best, but I'm just very passionate about what I do, and I work. The thing is, I can say I guess some of the sauce is that I'll outwork you. I'll outwork almost everybody. There's only a couple people in my circle that I know that work harder than me or work just as much. And it's about working. Well, it's not always about how much time you spend or work day to day, because you could be wasting a lot of time. You could be on your phone, you could be working, you could be on the clock, but are you really working? What's your quality duration of quality hours focus? And I get really distracted, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. I work so much. I'm a workaholic for sure, but I just love it. I just love it. Not everything. There's some stressful calls. There's things, meetings and stuff I don't want to be on. There's emails and stuff that I don't want to even think about. But when I'm like locked in on the things that move me, I'm so tapped in. When I chase a new venture that I'm passionate about, I'm so locked in on it that it's just relentless. You know what I mean? It's contagious, man. I'm just so like on it, just ideas. And when I find those creative rhythms, yeah, man, it's like I think I'm a good person to be around, because I'm just bouncing ideas. It's just screenshots, text, references. Like with me, you're getting all that. You're getting so many ideas. You're getting real life mood boards for me in real time. And, you know, I think that's what really separates me. But I think my work ethic, and I want to thank my dad for that. My dad really trained me early on through sports. You know, he's my coach in all my sports. I mean, there was nothing musical going on early on, but I think just the work ethic and not being a quitter, him always just teaching me that I was meant for bigger and better things, literally verbatim, like, yo, son, you're meant for bigger and better things. Me hearing that for my whole life, eventually I began to believe it when I built self-confidence, you know what I mean? And then me just being my own soul, my own person. Because even my dad doubted me with music. My mom doubted me with music. My whole family doubted me. So that was like, I took what they taught me and I proved them wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was kind of ironic, but I learned what I was taught and then took my own initiative, and here we are, you know what I mean? But yeah, part of it is being God sent, with the ears, the big ears, and the mind and the drive of like just knowing that there ain't no one gonna do this shit like me, you know what I mean? And believing in that.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long form answer.
No, that's inspiring, and this is a long form conversation.
Probably could have just said that in like 2 sentences.
Nah, it was good. I appreciate the way that you navigated the whole response. You've really known your purpose, it seems like, for a long time. Like, you really started this work probably at 17?
Yeah.
How did you know at 17 like that you were aligned to your purpose, and how do you feel like maybe what's one piece of advice you can give to people who are looking for that sense of purpose, that sense of aligning internally and knowing where they should go, like kind of the direction they should move?
Yeah, I think everybody finds their purpose at different ages. I mean, there's people who know younger. There's people who are at the age of 3 to 6 already know that they're going to be an athlete or an artist or whatever it is that they pursue, right? So some people, I found it at 17. I know people who discovered it at 13, 10, right? But I think not even getting caught up on when others do it, it's just what feels right for you. And again, this life is really a journey and a marathon, so it's like long term, you know. So, I mean, some people can find it earlier and burn out by the age of 20. Some people can find it at the age of their teens, or in my case, 17. Excuse me, and burn out at 25, 30. You know what I mean? So it's really just about, it's not a competition. It's just about navigating. That's why, you know, how long do I really want to be doing music stuff related? Or how long do I really want to do all the things that I do that put a roof over my head and that serve me and provide my resources? How long do I want to keep doing that before I get burned out? And so that's why doing stuff like this, you know, and getting into real estate and getting into interior design and creating experiences is what keeps me going and keeps my engine running, because it all correlates. The music, the design, the visual aesthetic, all goes in hand. So now it makes me want to do everything at this capacity with anything that I touch. When I travel, I bring a piece of me from home, a tapestry, incense, anything that reminds me of a comfort zone and gets me in a certain space. I bring that with me, right? So because of that, that's what's enabled me to really just like, lock in. And so finding my purpose at the age of 17, I just knew, you know what I mean? I knew younger. I knew younger. I was just trying to figure out. I was trying to find a name. What am I going to do? Am I going to DJ? Am I going to do radio? Am I going to create? Am I going to learn how to produce, right? And so that took me a bit of time, but I was just always infatuated with playlisting and curation, downloading music on the LimeWires on my PC and just curating CDs for I found a love. I got excited when I would make CDs for my friends, back in 2004, 2003, and that feeling of when I would see them like, yo, what's that track number 7? What is that? Or like, bro, the whole CD is fire. Like, that shit made me happy, and I just followed that. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to produce. I wanted to put playlists together back then, and I was always at the kickbacks and high school functions. I was always the one plugging in my CD and always playing the tunes. You know what I mean? Pulling out my binders, CDs, and we're going back in time. Some of the youngins don't know nothing about that, but that was when I realized I enjoyed putting people on. I didn't want to produce. I just knew. I tried producing, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't move me the same. That's when I realized. And then you put a mic in front of me, and I've always been pretty good at public speaking. You know what I mean? Just naturally since high school. I was class president, so that taught me the confidence that I needed my senior year. And so having to speak at my high school graduation at the commencement kind of got me like out of my comfort zone, right? And so that was a moment I'm like, yo, just put a mic in front of me, I can move people. You know what I mean? And through music and my voice went hand in hand, and I never looked back. So last thing I'll say is you'll just know. You know when it feels right. Only you know. But I think people have to just make the time to keep searching for that and stop. You got to be fearless. Can't let family especially get in the way of your vision. If you let family or friends or significant other, you let other people around you and their insecurities get in the way of your vision, what you already know, how's someone going to tell you what you already know? Once you know that, it's all yours. But if you let them steer you the other direction, you may end up working at something that you're not happy with for the rest of your life. So don't let someone else's insecurities or uncertainty let you become them. Straight up.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. What I kind of heard just from what you were saying was you were just kind of listening to what felt good, and that guided you towards more, not only your purpose, but it aligns your passions with your purpose, because you just enjoyed, being in high school, making CDs, curating them. That expanded into the parties, that expanded into being class president, that expanded to K-Beach, Cal State Long Beach, starting the radio show, which I heard recently, episode 1 of Selection.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I've heard it before, but I heard it again.
It hits a little different.
After, just in doing research for this conversation, you've always had it, man. You had the smooth voice, which we need to get into. I need some advice on that. but nah, you really have had that same energy that you had at show 1. I heard at show 600, and I think that's a beautiful thing. The other thing that I think, like I observed just from what you were saying, and I think something that connects with me as well, is I feel like I've always known my purpose because I've just listened to it, and I think for me it's about building bridges. I've just realized the medium with which I can do that, and I think maybe that's something that takes a little bit of time, is testing what medium feels like right to you. For you, music was always at the core, but it wasn't producing. That medium didn't align with you. Curating aligned with you. The radio show aligned with you. And so I think that's a really interesting just note to take from from your story.
Yeah, you're right. Even that, because a lot of people ask me like, why don't you produce? I mean, knowing me when I go all hands in, I probably, if I would have started years ago, I probably could have been a really great producer right now. But then selection would have suffered, because how can I don't really know any successful producers that are like top level executives simultaneously. It's either one or the other, or you have to bring in the right staff to like lead. It's like, as a producer, as an artist, how do you balance being the greatest for yourself and then put other people on? I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but it's very difficult. That's why most labels that are ran by artists don't really last. Or even if they're the face of it, or those artists are still the biggest in the label, no one ever surpasses them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if someone's better than you, or like they have potential to be better? Are you gonna allow them to be better? Are you gonna let you put your ego down? I haven't really seen it. It's always the biggest artist, but no one's ever bigger than them. If you ever really notice, you're like, I don't gotta say names or labels. It's cool. I get it. But so for me, I wanted to like allow, like, there's people who've been doing this their whole life, and let me let them be great at what they do. Like, I'm not here trying to compete with the greats. Let me do what I do, which is putting people on. Let me do what I'm great at. Another God-sent gift of mine is recognizing people's greatness before they do, not just in music, but in life. I see potential in everybody, and you're really good at this. You should do this. You know, giving them that confidence, that reassurance. And so I find just love in that. It feels good to like see someone glow up and see someone go from year 1 to year 5 and see where they're at and be like, yo, I'm not saying I'm responsible for that, but like I remember when you were like self-doubting, and now look at you. You know what I mean? Like, that's fire to see the growth. So
that's amazing.
I love that element more than trying to make it about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I could speak from experience on that, because I feel like we met when we met. I was in college working at Brooklyn Circus. Shout out to Gabe and Brooklyn Circus, Ouija. But I remember you showing so much love to this, like, I don't know, 19 or 20-year-old kid with a vision, unsure of where it was going to go. And I just remember you were one of the first people really in the industry doing things, making waves, that just like supported us. And I thought that just meant so much. And so I appreciate that just from a personal level. But also I think it's, to your point, that's your superpower as well. You keep an eye on everything. You know what I mean? You keep the engine running, and you keep helping others realize their potential as well, whether you're hands-on with it or kind of, you know,
I'm just passing by. We just have one conversation. That's been happening a lot. You know, I meet so many people week to week, you know, especially when I'm touring and I'm on the road or traveling, and like I forgot about that until I'm like, oh, I do remember that. And for me, I'm just grateful that I'm so consistent at being solid, because even when I don't remember, like when people recite their stories and when we first met, it's always reassuring for me to be like, damn, I've been solid since day one. Like I've never had no ego. I've always treated everyone with respect, whether I know you or not, whether I know what you do. It's not about what you can do for me. I just treat everyone like a human. You know what I mean? I'm a human. Like, some people like kind of separate that with me sometimes, especially now. And I just have to remind them, like, bro, I know whatever it is that you envision, or whatever my reputation is to you, but like at the end of the day, I am just a normal person that's just very passionate about what he does. And like, I'm not a here and you're here. We're here, and I'm having a real life conversation. And so to know that even it could be one exchange or one thought that is spoken about, and that can impact somebody, and then here we go years later and people remember that. So last thing I want is to be like, yo, Joe's he's like great at or whatever, but like have you met him? Like, you know, when they say like don't meet your heroes and shit like that, I never want to be that ever. So I want people to feel the opposite, like genuinely, like, man, he's such a real, like, I already like looked at him as this, but he's even better in person than I thought. Like, he's way chiller and just so much more humble and down to earth. And that's something I really strive, you know, after every single show that I do, I always stay after. I don't do meet and greets or packages like that. I just stay after and take photos with people and have conversations for as long as till the security kicks us out. And that's important for me to like tap in with the people, you know what I mean? And I've always done that because it's important. So I just want people to like always remember those things, you know what I mean? Like what's your legacy like outside of your talents, you know what I mean? So
yeah, let's run it back, man. I want to talk a little bit about your early days, as comfortable as you're talking as you are about talking about them. What's your Marvel superhero origin story of Joe K? How would you kind of like synthesize your childhood? Any important moments, life moments that shaped you? I'm sure there are a ton, but you know, kind of what are some of those biggest lessons you learned? I know you mentioned your pops already, but if there's anything that you want to go into there or even just elsewhere.
So like what's a moment that in my younger days that, or an era that essentially made me or more of?
Yeah, I think when you think about your childhood and your upbringing, what are some of those moments that shaped you?
Man, there was a lot, you know, being the only child, coming from a split family early on, watching a lot of things through family members on both sides, learning from them on how to be and how not to be, observing, being a great observer, being like caught in a lot of, I've always been in the middle of people. So a lot of the times, you know, us adults, especially when you have kids and you don't work out with your significant other, your partner, you become a co-parent. A lot of the times the issues that arise are very personal and selfish between both parents. And so we're the ones that suffer, the kids. The kids are the ones that got to suffer. They got to hear it. They got to be caught in the middle of the crossfire. They got to be on eggshells with both sides. Oh, are you favoriting one parent or the other? It's a very difficult position to be in. And so I found myself in those positions a lot, and it's not fun, and it can really like put a dent mentally on people. But like going through some of those things like really impacted me. But I'm just grateful that I was able to see and be a part of those very personal and situations that can be detrimental to a child's mind, and I was able to overcome that. Being questioned or being challenged, being doubted by your own family, that's powerful, and it's so common more than we know. You know what I mean? Like I said, family, significant others, friends, and being able to, you know, almost like real life self-meditation and ignoring all of them and still gunning for what you want to do, powerful. Those were moments that made me, and I don't want to make it just seem like it was just negative. There was a lot of other beautiful, powerful moments, you know. And just take that you, like I said, you got to be fearless. When I do things, even with my DJ sets and the music that I play now, it's very fearless. It's very scary sometimes playing some of that music to thousands of people and not knowing if it's going to work and thinking like, damn, why did I play that, right? And a lot of it requires me to be fearless. A lot of this requires me to listen to myself and being like, nah, like I believe in this. I'm going to do it. Not being an over perfectionist in a sense of where like the project or the idea never comes out. And just letting things fly because it could change your life, you know. Yeah. If you let other people become a part of the process or become a part of it. So, yeah. And lastly, having the right people who share like-minded ideas or that aren't projecting or insecure or aren't hating. Having the right people that can enable you to like push you to put it out. Or even if it's not up to par, finding or timeless living. It's really just doing things so damn good that like it attracts everybody of all walks of life. Yeah. You know? And I think that's what drives me.
Back to what you said as well, this idea of being a student and being open, like letting go of any sense of ego and just being open to learning. it only informs the work that you're doing, right? So like when the more knowledge you have, the more you're able to make the best decision that makes sense for you. You know, you can take what's useful and let go of the rest, as they say. So I think that mindset is also probably what leads to a lot of the success of your brand and your evolution. So props to you for that.
Thank you, brother.
I want to pivot a little bit, talk about and just talk a little bit about just some of these reflections that I've kind of noted for you. How do you find joy these days?
I find joy through me being at home and just sitting in silence sometimes. Me being home and just in a routine. Like I'll do anything to just be home. You know what I mean? Like at my place, it's just me. It's just, I'm always being demanded by people for something, or people need me or want my attention, or I don't know. It's overwhelming. So me just being home in a way, that's my peace. And right now I mean, it's been stressful. Don't get it wrong. Like getting this to the finish line, but like now that it's becoming a real thing, it's like all those things go out the window. And right now we're in the fun part, you know, making this like a real concept, you know, sitting on a piece of furniture, seeing Zabala had told me something the other day. She's like, man, it's so crazy. Like we went from watching you like with timeless classics and posting like other homes, or like, you know, posting a mood board online, to now creating your own real life mood board through your home. Like that's powerful. And they kind of really set in on me right then and there. Like, whoa, that's very true. Like that's to take something from here and to turn it into a real concept that not just you but others can experience. Extremely powerful. You know what I mean? So when she said that, I was like, whoa, it did go from the digital world to real life and went from here to real life. And so I find joy in that, you know what I mean?
It's kind of your offering to the world.
Yeah. And then just being the last thing I'll say has nothing to do with work or anything. It's being in good standing with my loved ones, my family, my parents, my daughter, you know, my exes, everybody, man. Like I don't want any, like, this life is short, man. I've lost some really important people in my life, and a couple of them, whether it was on them or it wasn't on them, whatever it was, losing them and not having that final word, or not just being in like the best of understanding with one another, that doesn't sit right with me. Like when it's all said and done, 9 out of 10 times, I mean, there's levels to it. If someone like does something to like really, really, really disrespect you or put you in harm's way, or people around you, that's different. But if it's just like a confrontation or a clash, misunderstanding, all that shit never matters when it's all said and done. None of it matters. I don't care what. It's really not that deep. When our time is up, whenever that time is, it's never that deep. So I try to just be kosher and just be like, it'll never most likely be what it once was. We'll never be talking or in the great standing that was at our peak of a relationship, but at least we're cool. And that's all that matters to me. So that's what keeps me happy right now, is like just being, there's a couple people that, you know, I haven't spoken to, and, you know, I hope at some point that can change, or one of us don't leave before we have that final word. But, you know, for the most part, I'm like cool with everybody, and I couldn't be more happy about that. The people that matter most to me, I'm coolest with. Yeah. So that's what brings me joy.
Yeah, that's powerful. Having a good relationship with your loved ones is so important. So thank you for the reminder. I know you don't talk a lot about Malia, your daughter, strategically, like on purpose.
Yeah.
And shout out also, I know you mentioned this too on Creative Ambiance on Levi's podcast. Yes, yeah. You haven't heard that one with Joe. It's a really, really good conversation.
Shout out Levi, man.
Shout out Levi. But tell me a little bit about your relationship with Malia, and maybe just something that fatherhood has taught you.
Yeah, man. Shout out Malia. She's 10, about to be 11, and There's people who have just discovered who I am that didn't even know I have a kid because, for those who may be new here, I've only spoken about it once, and it was on Levi's podcast, and that was a very pivotal time in my life, and that was the top of the year. But she had just a couple years, like 3 years ago, I just mentioned that she would like, especially because she knows who I am and what I do, she would just like for her mother and I to keep her off socials. And if we do post her once in a while, we have to get her approval, but she just really wants to be known for her art. I think it's just so powerful to give that your child an option to be on your social media, to be on the digital world, and I think more parents should really lean into that a little bit more. We're so excited to show our creation and we're so proud of our children, or you just want to always showcase them, but that's fine. But once they hit a certain age, it's like, and they're aware, it's super important to like give them that choice. I get it. Some people are like on some brand partnership stuff for their kids, or the kids are models, and it's tough. If you're bringing it, it's tough. If you're bringing in money for the family and stuff. I get it. You know what I mean? Everybody's different.
Yeah.
But for Malia, I don't force her to do anything that I like. I want her to be her own person. She is her own person. She's not me, and I've accepted that. I would love for her to be in music or do things that are in my trail, but I honestly did nothing that my parents did. So who am I to expect her to do what I did? And look where I'm at. So she's an artist, she likes painting and being on Procreate and on the iPad designing animations and artwork and anime characters. And she's really, 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 really good. And I don't say that because she's my daughter. She's fire. And I've been trying to give her the keys and plugs to so many things. I don't think she even realizes how much I can really do for her. Like, man, once she realizes and she like matures a little bit more, it's a wrap, because I am the marketing machine, and I have all the tools and people to plug her in. And she's also a child, and she's a girl, and she's really talented. She'll make it so easy to like market her. Yeah. But I'm not forcing her, you know what I mean? So just allowing her to find her zone. She's very like to herself. She's like a preteen right now, so it's also interesting watching her develop and have her own thoughts and perceptions. And what fatherhood has taught me is to be patient and to grow daily. Really, really, like that's shout out to Sango, but like that motto with her, and she's a girl, and you have to be a lot more delicate with girls. They're just different. They're just different. In a good way, but it requires a lot of patience, especially for someone like me that was impulsive. So she's taught me so much patience and delicacy, and she's taught me that I can't expect myself in her or others, even though she is me and there are things about me that are in her, just through her seeing me and growing up around me. I have to respect her like she is really her own person, so it's just really allowing her to find that and just guiding her, working with her mom and, just trying to make the best decisions for her on behalf of her and like for her best of interest. We're a team. We're not together anymore, but we got to approach this like we're a team. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's still my family. If the mother of my child, no matter who she's with or who she's dating or whatever, procreates and starts a new family, that's her choice. And I have to separate that from my daughter, and I have to allow, like, at the end of the day, I still got to make sure they're good. I got to make sure, like, y'all financially, y'all in a good place. Are y'all happy? Like, are air in your tires? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're driving my daughter around, like, the fridge full, like, this is all impacting my child. So I got to make sure they're both good, because this is how my child is growing up. So you have to really foresee it like that, not like this is me versus you. You know what I mean? Like, that's on you. There's levels to it, and there's certain things that are responsible for the other parent to handle. But you really got to approach it like it's still a tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so once you've matured and realized that, it took me some time. Everybody eats, everyone's in a better place. The child is in a better place. It's important for the child to see two parents that may not have seen eye to eye before see that they can align and grow and talk on the phone and laugh and smile, and they're doing it for the best of interest of the child. You know what I mean? It's important for a child to see that. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Malia, it just made me think about just this idea of legacy in general. And I'm curious about how you feel and if you've put any thought into your legacy and ultimately, I guess, how you want to be remembered.
Yeah, it's a great question. In terms of legacy, just really want to be remembered here for someone that always stood true to what they loved and believed in, no matter what. I always want to be remembered for being a giver, because I am. I give more than I receive. And, like my dad taught me, a provider and contributor never asks if you need something, he just does it. And yeah, of course I'll ask, like, do you need something? But just in general, like, there's certain things that are just, you just know, you just do it. You know what I mean? And so that's something I learned from my dad. And so I've always been in a position where I've been a bit more blessed with tools or finances than most people around me. And, I'm always the first one to pay for the check. I don't even hesitate. I'm always the first one to give my nice things to people. If I see someone needs something, I'll just give it to them. Like, just take that. You need it more than me. You know what I mean? That ain't a flex. Just like if I see, like, if I have it and I know that it's like something I can replace or whatever, take it. So I've always just really been that type of person. So I've always just want to be remembered for someone that's staying true and being a great father, even if I'm on the road and I can't be present for every moment. If I don't see my daughter all the time or there's distance between us, like, I still try to be present in all ways that I can. So yeah, and just want to be remembered too, even like as a great friend. If you share something with me, that stays between us. I'm not here to put out your information and talk shit about you. You know what I mean? It's like, you came to me with this information, it stays here. You know what I mean? And respecting someone's word. You know what I mean? And not putting their private information out to people or others that like end up putting them in a bad position. So just being a man of my word, really. You know what I mean?
What's so interesting about this response that you just gave is that none of it is related to accolades. And I really appreciate that. I think that's for someone who's achieved so much and is continuing to do so and will continue to do so. I love that you're so grounded in
that's crazy.
who you are as a person.
Yeah. I feel like the accolades will come based off that foundation. You know what I mean? But that's a given. Like, you put in the work and you put in the true character, time into development. That'll come because that's what I do anyway. Like, it is like clockwork. Music, radio show. I'm gonna do what I do because that's what I've been doing. So that'll come based off the things I laid down. But like, that shit's cool and like that's what the world knows me for or whatever. But I don't know. I'm just so much more deeper than that, and that's why I'm gonna bring her up again. Zabao was the first one recently. We were in Mexico City, and we were having a conversation at lunch with a group of people, and they're going around like, "Oh, so what do you do, right?" And I never know how to answer that question because the guy just genuinely didn't know who I was. But I just like, yeah, I was just trying to downplay it because I also don't like getting because like once I tell them what I do, then they ask me 21 questions. So I was just trying to downplay it. But he's like, oh, okay, so you're a DJ, right? And it kind of was like ready to move on. And she corrected him. And she's like, he's actually an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just a DJ. Like, he actually runs like 7 entities and like X, Y, and Z. And it's just like that was like a nice reality check even for me. Cause I was like, damn, I am more than just a fucking DJ and a radio host. Like, I actually am like someone that's running an empire and somebody that's like been doing this for a long time, and I need to embrace that more. I'm more than music, and that's why we're here with Timeless Living. It's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I am more than just Joe K, the radio host and selection, this is something like you can do it too, pretty much. And so those are things that really stem from all that and made me come to this like new venture. Didn't have its timing then, so when? But right now, in general, I feel like it's an extremely intentional era and time for a lot of people in finding their identity, right? And if you're leaning into something that you're passionate about, even if you don't have the answer to where it's gonna go, if not now, then when are you gonna do it? Like, straight up.
Yeah.
When are you actually just going to gun for it and stop waiting and stop? Publicly, it's like me holding myself accountable. A lot of people don't realize that. I know I'm not the only one, but
No, but that's a dope way to approach it.
Yeah, like, I mean, put this out there because I'm like, this is, and then it just happens to resonate with other people that are feeling the same way or that needed to see it. But that's me saying, like, I need to find through all the madness that I go through. I mean, man, right now, I wish I can go off the grid with no social medias, nothing for like at least 6 months. I wish I could. If I could right now, I would do it starting immediately. But unfortunately, you know, a lot of everything I do requires, you know, social awareness. You have to go on socials and market yourself, and it's exhausting. I don't even know how to do it sometimes, and it's very taxing. But obviously the benefit is that I sell out shows and people will be coming to my space and support us and support me, and it has to do with promoting yourself. But I really wish I can go off the grid. I'm a social introvert, you know what I mean? And I'm expected and demanded, and so many people demand my time. In fact, that's where I would end it at is, to all my friends, acquaintances, business partners, family. I haven't always been that responsive this year to a lot of people, and some people have taken it personal. Friends, acquaintances, women, and it's just kind of like they say they understand me, but I don't think they really do. Like, I don't think they really understand how hard I'm really working. Like, I think people see it, they see the results, but they're not in the gym, they're not in there going through all the trials and tribulations. So it's easy for someone, and I don't mean this in a flex, that's not as busy to not feel some type of way, or like, oh, well, I texted you, or you know, whatever. Like, yo, sometimes I'm just genuinely like busy and I just forget, or I don't have the mental or social battery. I don't have time to be texting all day. I don't have time to be sending voice notes all day. I don't have time to meet up. I barely have time for myself.
Yeah.
So with that said, is I think with what I'm about to do, I think it'll all make sense for people. So just trust me. Like, and if it's personal, I'm at a point in my life, I'll let you know if it's personal. If it really is. Most of the time it's not personal. 9 out of 10 times it's never personal with these people.
Yeah.
But they always try to make it about them. You know what I mean? They show their true colors and start feeling personal. So like, and I know I'm not the only one going through this. Like, people feel so entitled to people's time. Like, oh, I texted him. Well, I ain't gonna hit him up. Or I ain't gonna hit her up. I already texted her. You know what I mean? Oh, I double texted her. Now I'm definitely not on him. Fuck her. You know what I mean? Oh, social media. Oh, but he's posting. I just post him on his. I saw him post on his story. Like, that's my time. Like, I gotta post something. That's so what?
Yeah.
It's like a text is like someone knocking on the door, or like an email. You don't have to answer it. And I think we're in a generation where everyone is entitled to your time. And they feel like you have to. You feel weight on you when you have X amount of text messages or missed phone calls. That's where I'm at. Like, call me.
Yeah.
If I don't answer the phone, I will call you back when I can. And if I don't, just trust me, it's not personal. And if it was, I would have let you know by now, right? So I think with Timeless Living rolling out, and when people see the amount of detail that I've poured into this and means about put out through this, you know, I think that people will be like, damn, okay, I get it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
even then, you can't expect that.
Can't
right?
expect that.
Like,
you can't even expect that. You're
it's
right.
It's the
just
way
the
of
way
the
it is.
world,
But
man.
hey, if that's how people want to be, then those are the kind of people I don't really want in my life.
Yeah,
You know
I mean, I would put it this way from just hearing you talk. You mentioned it earlier that you're a giver. I feel like I can resonate with that from my own life, my own experiences, and I think what I've learned and what I am learning, and it sounds like you're in the same process and the same journey, is learning how to fill our own cups. Because for my whole life, I don't think I've done that well. And I will say the more that I've done that the past year or two, the more fulfilled I felt and the more I'm able to fill other cups as well. So I think keep doing what's working for you and give what you can and when you can, and just make sure you're giving to yourself as well.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
I definitely will. You know what I mean? I'm in the space right now where I'm just pouring everything back into myself and the people that really matter the most around me, and just betting on that versus trying to, do too much or fulfill everybody. You know what I mean? And I think with that said, I'm in a better headspace now. You know what I mean? I'm just way more tapped in, not trying to be a people pleaser, creating boundaries and being very, very firm about my boundaries, making people respect that. And just remembering that at the end of the day, like, even all this stuff, we can't take it with us. You know what I mean? It's to leave behind all this physical things. These things are nice, but it's really just more about the impact that we're having on people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that is all.
I love it. I got one last question. It's a fun one, hopefully. My podcast voice, man. You spend 90 minutes with me. I'm with the GOAT. I'm with the DJ Smooth Joe. Hear your voice every week. Ingrained in people's heads. Every single person knows Joe K's voice on Apple Music, on just like every station you could think of. They've heard you. The live experiences. What's the keys to a great radio show voice? Give me some pointers.
Man, I mean, like I said.
Stop. Why you doing that? Why you talking
Man, like I said, you either have it or you don't. There's some people with some really great voices out there. I don't know. I just think tonality, confidence, just having that confidence and knowing what you're talking about, writing down your thoughts a lot helps me a lot. Having clarity, it enables me to deliver my messages so much more clear, and just flowing, man. Just finding pockets to just speak, being calm, being patient. Even with you today, like, I've become such a better listener. Before, I used to be so excited and like I didn't mean to, but I would just be interrupting people all the time. They're like mid-sentence and I'm just like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like, or just always saying something like, bro, just shut up. Let them talk. You know what I mean? And it took me some years to figure that out. But again, like, in terms of the vocal side, what's crazy? The last thing I'll say about this is that I actually got surgery. I had a vocal nodule last year. I had it for about 2 or 3 years since COVID. I blew out. I had like a knot in my vocal cord. I think from like tour. It could have been from like just yelling on the mic, like going crazy. I mean, this is my smooth voice, but when people see me live, I'm like, and then if you're drinking, you're fatigued. I think I blew out my cord, like no different from like a vocalist or a teacher, like someone that overuses their voice, and I just blew out, and I didn't get it fixed. I didn't know, but my voice was cutting out every other word, and it was the most annoying thing. That's why I stopped doing interviews, because I couldn't do a proper interview without my voice, and it sounded terrible. And I finally got my voice fixed, and so now I'm trying to take care of my voice. And yeah, man. So
it's working.
Yes, sir.
Did you always like your voice? Or was there?
I didn't even know I had a radio voice until I got a mic, and it spoke. And then as I've gotten older, I think my voice has kind of changed and developed a little bit. But
it's not I'm not gonna interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna just say that I think it's one of those things where I knew not everyone, people want to DJ, but not everyone wants to do radio. I always knew like broadcasting was like a lane for me. So I just leaned into it. You know?
Yeah.
And when I listen to, I can't really listen to audiobooks anymore because most of the voices suck and they just sound like dry. Like they need some seasoning or something. Yeah. And if we ever write a book, I may have to narrate. I might have to do the audiobook myself because it just hits better. Yeah. I don't want some random. We gotta have a good voice, but if not, I don't want just. I'm not gonna say anything. I just don't want some random like. It ruins the experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? So your vocal tone is everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate the advice. It's iconic, man. I think your voice has traveled and hit millions and millions and millions of people.
It's crazy.
So whether you like it or not, the work is spreading. The mission is spreading. And I think you learn to love those things anyways as you just get consistent with it. So
100%.
Joe, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming here, bro.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me to this space and experiencing it. It's really, really special. I'm excited for your launch, for you and Zabel, just to put this out into the world and feel like you can let it take a life of its own, I should say. I'm excited to come back and stay here and experience it. It's just a beautiful kind of next iteration of the Selection universe, and Timeless Living is special. So congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
And more success, man.
Thank you, bro. Much love. Likewise, man. I want to keep seeing you interview all these greats and just elevating conversations and just sharing people's stories and like inspiring others through storytelling, curating the people that you have on and that you build relationships with. So that's why I don't really do these, but when we spoke, we just had kept seeing each other for some time, and I've obviously known you for a long time, but like the timing right now felt right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, let's just have a conversation. It's been long overdue anyway.
Absolutely.
So this is the perfect time.
Yeah, love, bro. Appreciate you.
Of course, bro.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. My
love.
God.
Let's go.